So I'm Orbax, and I am the Science Communication and Media Officer for the Department of Physics. So I suffered third-degree burns to 11% of my body, all head and face. And I was in the hospital for 10 days and home nursed for about a month, at which point I really had to sort of decide what direction my life was going to take. And that was probably one of my lowest times in terms of really having to evaluate, I guess if you want to call it, successes and failures. You know, the intent was not to light myself on fire and be in the hospital. It was just to light a portion of myself on fire and be all right. That didn't happen, so I guess that was officially a setback. However, you do have to look at these things and learn from them, and you can't change a lot of what's happened in the past. So all you can do is hope to learn and hope to adapt and to move forward. And so as a result, something like that could have either been, okay, stop performing, stop trying to do things that are different than normal, or take what you've learned from that, adapt, and throw even more of your passion behind it to succeed in that realm. In terms of measuring your successes against other people's, I think fundamentally, you'll reach a point where you just continue to compare yourself against people until you can't achieve what they achieved. You know, if you are constantly doing that and seeking that out, you're constantly setting yourself up for a fall. All you can do, I think, and all anybody can do when they exist or pass through life, is to compare themselves now to the person they were a minute before. Have you learned? Have you adapted? Have you worked hard to be better from that moment to the next moment? And that's really all you can do. I guess the fundamental hope for anybody is to always move forward and to not necessarily degress. It's hard to say because I've been trying to not really view things as failures or setbacks in general. The key to always doing something like this is to admit that, of course, you've never failed, which has never happened to me, because realistically, I look at things as every single thing that you can possibly do and every single thing that's happening is an adventure or is part of your journey through life, right? You know, you don't necessarily fail when you go to the grocery store and forget to get toilet paper. It's just something that happens. And so you adjust and adapt to it, hopefully by finding something else instead of toilet paper. What I mean to try to get across is that failures and setbacks happen all the time, but they're not really that. They're just stepping stones, and you keep moving forward and keep doing. So I don't know. Realistically, things don't work out the way I want them to all the time, every day, almost every minute of the day. But, you know, putting a moniker such as failure to it that really carries with it such a intense emotional attachment is probably too much. That everything you do in your life effectively is a tile of some kind. Some of these tiles are bright and shiny and beautiful. Some of these tiles are dingy and cold and are maybe, you know, not that attractive. But when you put all those tiles together and you look back, that tile creates the mosaic of your life. And the hope is that in the end, it creates this incredible picture that you can be proud of. Whether the tiny individual tiles are not great or there's ones that are great, the total picture is what you need to think about. So everybody does things every day that they're not proud of. Everybody has issues every day that they feel are a setback. But in the end, did you get close to where you want to be? Or in the end, did it make you a better person? Or in the end, fundamentally, when it all comes down to it, are you happy? It's important to understand what you want to achieve and what you want to do. It's important to look inside yourself and to set goals based on where you want to be and what you want to achieve. Not necessarily in terms of making other people happy, not necessarily in terms of living up to other people's expectations, and also not necessarily living up to what you think that you should be able to do based on how you judge yourself compared to other people. You have to sit down and realistically look at what you want and what makes you happy and what makes you grow and what makes you move forward. In the end, failing a test might not matter as much as consoling a friend or being a better person to a stranger, or something that in the long run makes you a better person. Unless that test was, of course, about consoling a friend or being nicer to a stranger, in which case it would be a failure on that entire level. But it's a kind of a circuitous thing because I ran out of gas. The thing is that even, you know, I've been teaching for 10 years. I've been in entertainment for 20 years. I'm 40 years old now. And I didn't complete my PhD. I dropped out to pursue entertainment full time. And that was a decision that I made based on everything that happened in my life. And also in reevaluating what I thought was important. And to me, taking a chance at a certain point in my life was more important than going the traditional method. That's not something that everybody can do, and it's not something that's important for everybody. But it took me, you know, maybe 25 years to figure out that that was a really important thing to me, to sort of throw away expectations that I had placed on myself based on societal obligations and to pursue my own avenue.